Consider what comes to mind at the mentioning of the word death. And without being too selfish about it, empathetically consider what would come into our fellow man's mind at the notion of death. In 2 Corinthians 3, chapter 3, verse 7, it describes what was written and engraved in stone as a ministry, specifically a ministry of death, brethren. I myself, if I think about being a minister of death, I think I kind of start to associate with them and how they were feeling when they saw Moses approach them after having been exposed to that glory. And be that as it may, when it comes to God, death was a glorious thing. It was, in fact, overwhelmingly glorious for the Israelites. They were unable to behold the countenance of Moses' faith. And even knowing that this countenance was temporary, in that it was passing away, but that didn't make it any less glorious to where they could stand it. And so, yes, this ministry was temporary, and its conclusion is made official by the utterance from Jesus' very own mouth as he hung from the cross. It is finished. But that hardly meant that God the Father was finished, does it? If you skip ahead to chapter 4 and verse 6, on the third day subsequent, God himself commanded light to shine. In contrast to the Genesis account where the light was to be there, he now commands light to shine out of the darkness. He is calling us out of his darkness. The source of that light, can you imagine it? Can you fathom it? The source of that light is our very own hearts, brethren. Because the moment that we began to dabble into sinful activity, that plunged our entire being into darkness. The same kind of darkness as was experienced at Jesus' death. But in the fullness of time, we come to the realization that all along, as of that third day, Jesus continues to command there to be light shining out for the world. And then you go back to chapter 3 and verse 18 of 2 Corinthians. We all, with unveiled face, beholding as in a mirror the glory of the Lord. How does that happen? As we here assembled and nurture each other and build each other up, we're experiencing a constant transformation that more and more establishes the presence that has always been among us. Jesus, here with us, to the end of the ages, from glory to glory, just as by the Spirit of the Lord. As we look back at chapter 1 now of 2 Corinthians. In verse 3, it says, "Blessed be God and the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of compassions and God of all comfort. He encourages us in all our affliction, because without that we would be unable to encourage those who are in any way afflicted." So that's how we get back to the light shining out. It isn't about selfishness at all. This is comfort by which we ourselves are encouraged by God. And then we jump once again to chapter 3 and verse 6. He has enabled us as ministers of the new covenant, not of the letter, but of the Spirit, considering that the letter kills, whereas the Spirit makes alive. So with this in our minds and in our hearts and in our actions, let us give thanks